Hello, Seka.
Yo, you pulling for Staff of Homa for your Zhao?
Yes. Hu Tao is actually trash. Staff of Homa is the real one.
But wait, how do you know Staff of Homa is coming?
It's the Hu Tao banner. Of course Staff of Homa will return.
But what if you get the weapon that's not on the banner?
Well, it's not like it could be any kind of support weapon that I don't need. Why are you looking at me like that?
It's cause he looked at the leaks and he knows what's on the banner, you doof!
Yeah. Well, what's on the banner? Tell me! You're so...
All right, so before we get into the Soju Summon video, there's some new event stuff that I want to go over very quickly. The Labyrinth of the Warrior event is going to be ending very soon, so make sure you get it done. It's going to be done on the 8th. But we're going to actually get a new event called the Shadow of the Ancient Events that's actually coming out much sooner and starting on the 5th. It's where we're going to get a lot of Primo Gems as well as, you know, Mora, Wits, and Talent books and stuff. There's also going to be a Dream of Bloom event coming out after that with Primo Gems, some Gift Box, Mora, and as well as Mystic Enhancement Ore. That's starting on the 12th, so those are the new events that are coming out in the next 2 weeks. And you're basically getting like this flower stand as well as some other rewards. The Leyline Overflow is the other thing that's going to be coming before the end of the patch here. It's going to be coming in the last set of the patch on the 15th of this month. So make sure that you're saving a little bit of your resin every day on the 15th or the 22nd in order to farm the Leyline Overflow so you get yourself more Mora as well as Hero Wits. Alrighty, so we have, of course, the new banner that is going to be live. It is going to be Hu Tao, Thoma, Diona, and Sayu. Quick point of fact on this one. I shot called this whole banner Poggies, and that's very interesting because I apparently we figured this out a while ago that I actually shot called a lot of these banners. So Hu Tao, Diona, Sayu, kind of an interesting banner. Not gonna lie, this is a pretty harsh banner for Hu Tao, and not having Shiku in the banner, not gonna add anything else that Hu Tao supports. The only support that we're really gonna see are between the two, between Diona as well as Thoma. But I kind of saw that coming a little bit. Now, because that's the case, Thoma is going to be one of those characters, going to be a god shielder. I've made a whole video about that. He's going to be one of the best shielders in Genshin, and he's going to be pretty fun. The characters that are going to be most interesting right now are going to be Sayu as well as Diona. Now, before we get into those two characters, very quickly, regarding Hu Tao C1, you don't need it. It's unnecessary. If you want it because it's fun, that is a great reason to get it. But if you're thinking you need it for DPS, the answer is no. It does not help you out in too many situations. The financial value of it is low for DPS. It is not worth getting unless you are perfect framing and having perfect play on your Hu Tao. It is not worth it because only about 5 to 10% of situations you're actually going to get a damage increase, and most situations you're not for C1 Hu Tao. Just know that if you're playing horribly, you're probably going to be okay not getting it. Now going into Sayu. All right, so details for Sayu here. So Sayu, if you didn't know, is a big old healer. Constellations for Sayu, in my opinion, are pretty weak. And Sayu overall is not really my favorite character as far as like a usable character. She is a very fun roly-poly character, and doing the Tornado of Death is fun. However, as far as like, is it good? Is it gonna help you clear content easier? I would probably say no. Okay, so Elementals, getting the Constellation 1, 2, 4, or 6 on her, I really didn't see too much of a difference between C0 Sayu and C6 Sayu for how the character felt when I was playing it. The only real difference is on C6, I built a full Elemental Mastery build versus on C0, I built an attack percentage build. So it just really changed the way I could build, but it didn't really change the way I felt when I was playing the character. So all the constellations for Sayu, in my opinion, don't really provide a ton of value. Constellation 4 gives you an extra energy little burst whenever you use a swirl, which allows this whole like elemental mastery build to be really good for getting lots of energy. But Constellation 2 and Constellation 1, whenever I use Sayu, I was not a huge fan of either of these as far as making the character feel impactful for an account. So I don't feel like Sayu is a character you really need constellations for. Even though if you do enjoy her, I don't really think she needs any constellations. Her feeling is very similar between C0 and C6 if you're using a roly-poly monster. As far as healing goes, again, it's a healer. You don't really need too many constellations on a healer. Genshin content is pretty simple when it comes to healing. You just need a healer to work. But Diona, though, Diona is a great character for constellations. Constellation 1 is a big constellation because it actually gives you a 15 energy back off your 80 energy cost, helping you with a large amount of energy cost. Because what happens at Diona is that you're going to try to particle funnel farm Diona. What that means is you're going to use an elemental skill on your Diona, and on your Diona, after using your elemental skill, you'll swap to a different character and let the energy particles float back and get to another character. Meaning that the next character that comes out is going to take all the particles, and the Diona's not going to take any. But being able to use the C1 and actually have the energy get returned is a very, very helpful thing for Constellation. So what happens at the end of the thing, which doesn't really matter when it happens, as long as it happens. C2 is really helpful for increasing the shield strength a little bit for your Diona, because you're going to get extra absorption on it by 15%, so that does help with your shield strength, and that is a nice thing for Diona because she is one of the lowest HP characters in Genshin. C4 is going to be not really helpful at all, and then C6 is what the monster constellation. Now for Hu Tao specifically, C6 is kind of a weird constellation because it's going to increase incoming healing bonus by 30% if you go below 50% HP, but if you're above 50% HP, you get 200 elemental mastery. The thing with this character is that with Hu Tao, you're going to want to be below 50% HP a lot of the time for your damage boosting, not above 50% HP, so the 200 elemental mastery transfer doesn't always work how you need it to, and it's not the best overall booster for you. However, it is a good booster, it's just not the best booster because of how it's placed. Now, there are no other real options in the game besides this right now. So if there was another one that you allows you to get a more elemental mastery, let's say Kazuha, etc., that would actually give you the elemental mastery you need for the Constellation 2 Kazuha, or potentially using Sucrose by be able to use Viridescent Veteran on teams, that might be a better option. But overall, Diona is one of those really good characters for a lot of compositions, but for Hu Tao specifically, I personally am not the hugest fan, but she is probably the best overall option besides Zhongli in the game right now. And the only other option, of course, is Thoma on the banner, which is the newest character. Thoma, if you don't know, I want a whole video about him, link to that in the description below. Okay, now the real talk on the next banner. This is the real banner. So this weapon banner, I am not going to sugarcoat this, and I'm not going to overblow this, but it is legitimately the best weapon banner that has ever come to Genshin Impact, okay? This weapon banner is legitimately the best weapon banner to ever come to Genshin. The reason for that is because of the 4-star weapons on the banner, okay? The 4-star weapons on the banner make this weapon banner insane. First off, Staff of Homa is one of the best weapons in the entire game for all of Genshin. Second, the Moryun's Moon is not going to be a great weapon right now for a lot of characters, could be good on Sarah, but the Wavebreaker Fin is actually the new polearm, and the new polearm is an exceptional polearm because it actually out damages the catch at Refine 1. That's right, it can out damage the catch at Refine 1. So if you were looking to pick up Constellation or Refines in this banner, or try to pick up something on this banner, this one is actually a huge weapon, okay? Now, I don't know how this weapon's gonna stack up versus a weapon like the 5-star weapons that you already have for your Raiden Shogun, but for other characters, as well as Raiden Shogun Zhangling, this weapon's exceptional. So if you're looking for an upgrade to the catch and you don't have a Skyward Spine, or you don't have a Jade Spear, or you wanted to use the Staff of Homa on one character, or you don't get the Staff of Homa, this is a great weapon. The last two weapons that make this weapon banner super good, of course, are the Sacrificial Sword, which is the best in slot weapon for your Xingqiu or Xingqiu, as well as the Widzith, which is a beast weapon for almost every single Catalyst character in the game. So the reason this weapon banner is so good is because if you're a free-to-play player or a budget player and you've never summoned on a weapon banner before, or you're an early game player or a mid game player looking to summon a weapon banner, this is the best weapon banner in Genshin to ever pick up refines on for your really early 4-star weapons. So if you're looking to summon on a weapon banner, in my opinion, this weapon banner is the one that really helps out. Now let's talk about Elegy for the End. All right, Elegy for the End is the only weapon actually I don't have that I really want. Elegy for the End is actually a very good weapon for a couple different characters. Elegy for the End, if you didn't know, is a weapon that's going to boost two different things. Elegy for the End is a weapon that's going to do two things. The first thing it's going to do is going to boost attack percentage of your entire team by 20%, and elemental mastery of your entire team by 100. It's also an energy recharge main stat weapon, making it really good for supporting characters to help you boost your overall team. So if you think about a 20% attack boost and 100 elemental mastery to the rest of your team, that's actually basically two set bonuses for your artifacts, which is actually a very, very strong bonus. Gladiator or Shimenawa is going to be at 18% attack, and a Wanderer's Troop build is 80 elemental mastery. So between the two, having both of those boosts being passed through your entire team is really good. And the characters that can actually use this weapon are pretty large. So the character that I think was most interesting to use this weapon, of course, is going to be Diona. Diona is actually her best in-slot weapon overall is the Elegy for the End. So if you are a player looking for big nuke builds and you're looking to get that, this weapon is actually very strong for her. Yet another character that's really good for it, that is actually a Cinderella character that just came to the game, of course, is Sarah. This weapon is going to actually be better, yes, I said better, than the Skyward Harp as far as damage transfer for your entire team. Because if you're going to get this weapon at Refine 1, it's going to have a total of 608 base attack at the max base attack. But if you're going to get this weapon all the way up, it's like to just Refine 0, but if you had 608 base attack, the Skyward Harp has 674 base attack. So the way that Sarah boosts attack is by giving your entire team attack based on her base attack. But the funny thing is, even though you have all that base attack, at level 90, you only have 870 total base attack. And if you get your elemental skill up to level 12, the maximum amount of attack transfer that you're actually going to get is going to be a total of 86% of her attack, which means that you're not even transferring a full like 100 or 70 attack. You're actually transferring a lot less than that. The total amount of attack that you're going to transfer is 748 attack with a Skyward Harp, and 688 with a Skyward, with the new Elegy at the end. Which means it's only gonna be a difference of 61 total attack that you're gonna transfer to the rest of your team. Conversely, if you were to add another 20% onto attack for the rest of your team, that's gonna be an extra 160 attack that you're gonna transfer with a 20% if you were gonna have, say, 800 attack on your total base attack for whatever character is gonna be on the field. So just in the raw attack value transfer, you're actually going to get a bigger bump on your Sarah to transfer attack by itself, not even including the elemental mastery on top of the transfer to the rest of your team. So if you're using a Sarah with your Elegy at the end, it's going to be a best in slot weapon for her as well for damage transfer. Joy Me, it's not going to be great. For Venti, it's amazing. Fischl will probably be pretty good too. Aloy seems to be really sus. And of course, Ganyu as well as Child is going to be pretty sus, but it could potentially work on Amber if you're being a Pega. But there are a lot of things that you could do with this weapon that make it really good. So if you're wondering if it's okay to get the Elegy at the End on your damage for one of your characters, the answer is yes. Elegy for the End is actually a very, very strong weapon for supporting. Even though the Staff of Homa is going to boost your Hu Tao a bit further, the supporting boost that you'll get from an Elegy End may be a somewhat similar boost. Let's just say it's like 20% less or something like that, maybe 30% less than you would get from a Homa. If that's the case, then it's a pretty darn good boost. So whenever you use an elemental skill or elemental burst, whenever you hit opponents, you're going to get stacks, and you can only get a stack every 0.2 seconds. And it's pretty easy to get that with Sarah, pretty easy to get that Diona, like especially if you're going to be using your elemental burst with Diona on that, because it takes multiple times. Sarah takes multiple times. There's a lot of different things that happen with these, so you shouldn't have any issues getting the max stacks. All right, and of course, the last thing that I mentioned, of course, I've already mentioned this earlier, but if you're thinking about getting Hu Tao C1 versus Staff of Homa, just pick up the Staff of Homa. The Staff of Homa can be transferred to almost every single spirit character in Genshin Impact, if not every single spirit character. So if you don't even use it on Hu Tao, you want to try something else on a different team in the future, you can just move the weapon over to a different character, and Elegy at the End is a great pickup either way. But that's gonna do for this video. My name's Sekapoko. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did enjoy the video, of course, like, subscribe, all the fun stuff. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.